Well, welcome into another edition of the Shuckin' Around podcast. My name is Garrett Green, the media relations manager and broadcaster for the Shuckers and host of the Shuckin' Around podcast. Episode number 3 coming up for you today. We're really excited to bring you this one. Korry Howell is our guest. Korry obviously started the year off with Wisconsin, where he was named the MILB Player of the Month because of the month of May that he had. He was promoted to the Shuckers in the month of August and was really a part of that push that Biloxi made at the back end of the year and gave us a preview of that core that the Shuckers are likely going to have to start off the 2022 season. We talked with Korry about his experience that he had at Kirkwood Community College, how that shaped him, how he's still in touch with his coaching staff there, and how important they've been for him, what that 2021 season was like from his perspective and how big it was, plus what he's working on during the offseason. And we ask him about stealing bases and who would win in a foot race between him and some of the top prospects in the Brewers organization. An absolutely great conversation with Korry, and we hope that you enjoy it. If you missed our previous episodes, in episode number 2, we had David Fry on, as well as Greg Young, talking about all the great prospects that are coming up through the Brewer system. And then all the way back to episode 1, Sam Dykstra was with us, and we really recapped the Arizona Fall League. So if you want to go back and hear about that, with all these prospect rankings likely to start coming out over the next couple of weeks, Sam had some great insight, not just on Brewers prospects, but also on prospects all across minor league baseball, and specifically ones that we'll likely see in the AA South in 2022. If you like this podcast, be sure to give us a follow, like, rate, and subscribe. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're also on Spotify, Stitcher, and of course, you can always catch the video version of this over on the Biloxi Shuckers official YouTube page. Just go search for Biloxi Shuckers there on YouTube. But without further ado, Korry Howell is our guest for episode number 3 of the Shuckin' Around podcast. Well, as we said, our guest on the podcast today, he came to us at the very end of the 2021 season, and I expect he might be back to start the 2022 season with us. Korry Howell is here. Korry, thanks so much for taking a little bit of your time to chat with us today.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You got it, man. So how's the offseason gone so far? I mean, it's obviously now we're kind of rounding towards spring training is just around the corner for you guys, but how's the offseason gone? Anything big happen for you this offseason?
No. Same old off season, same old getting in the gym, hitting, throwing, staying active, trying not to be too lazy, and just enjoying, like you were saying earlier, the winter is getting cold over here, so it's not too many outside activities going on. But just trying to stay active, trying to stay in the shape. Like you said, spring training is right around the corner, so ramping up, getting geared up for that. So.
Now, you said you're still in Iowa at this point, so I'm assuming you found some places to practice indoors. Are you still there around Kirkwood where you went to community college? Do you get to practice at their facility?
Yeah, they I still have great relationships with my coaches over there, our athletic directors over there, the secretaries over there, all the coaching staffs, basically all the teams are still over there. They've opened up they gave me complete access to all the facilities, weight room, cages. I go in, check out practices every now and then, and there's a couple places here in town that I can go hit at and lift at, that I've built those relationships since I've been here, since I haven't left since Kirkwood.
That's awesome. Well, and I'll start there. And obviously you went to Kirkwood Community College. You said in interviews that you were kind of a late bloomer, which our last guest, David Fry, said about the same thing. But by the time that you were leaving Kirkwood, you had an offer to go to Iowa. And then you obviously were drafted in the 12th round by the Brewers. How important do you think a story like yours is for guys out there who coming out of high school, they might not be getting a bunch of Division I offers or whatever, but you've shown that there's a path to get into professional baseball and make your way in pro baseball. And it doesn't have to be going to a powerhouse baseball school to do that.
Yeah, I think that's a misconception with a lot of guys coming out of high school and just guys looking forward to making that next step into college baseball. There's plenty of avenues into college baseball. There's JUCOs, like I went NAIAs, Division I, 2, 3, whatever you can find. But there's so many different avenues. Then there's so many guys that I've met while playing in the Brewers organization, while being drafted, that have gone through countless numbers of obstacles in schools, and transferring schools and transferring back to schools. And then there's no one way to do this. I've always heard the thing of saying, I've always heard that if you can play, they're going to find you. You know, I went to a junior college in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. It's not too much going on around there other than the two major universities in the area. Other than that, there's us. So I was fortunate enough to get the right eyes on me, and then here I am.
I'm always blown away that scouting departments are able to cover the amount of players that they have to try and dig and find. I know that that speaks to area scouting and everything like that, but I think you're right. And it's, if you can play, then they're going to find you. They're going to have an avenue.
I don't think that there's no, that people always, I think the misconception is going big D1. The D1s are not always going to get you the best opportunity. Sometimes you're not going to play. Sometimes you may be behind an upperclassman who just so happens to be one of their guys who they've had. And then here you are waiting 2 or 3 years just to get on the field, when you can go to a smaller school and then just show out for those 1 or 2 years, 3 years that you got there.
Now, I know you still have a really good relationship with your coaches that you had there at Kirkwood. Talk a little bit about how important they've been for your development, and I'm sure they still help you out even now that you're into your pro career.
No, 100%. It's like I've always said, Kirkwood is it's another family to me. Like I was saying earlier, they opened up all facilities to me, open arms. They say, whatever you need, come on in. Just let me know that you're in town. Whenever you're in town, stop on by. We love to see you, Korry. And that's what I do. That's why I still have those relationships with those guys. My head coach, Coach Ramos, he's still over there doing his thing, trying to take the boys to another World Series. Our hitting coach at the time, who's still my hitting coach now, he's no longer there at the school, but he stays in the area. And we're in the cages almost every single day, because it's just a certain connection that you have with one of our guys. And I've never switched up on my hitting coaches. I've never switched up on my team. So I call those guys, they're all part of my team, agencies, coaches, family. That's my team. And I try to keep that as small as I can.
Yeah, I know that's a big piece for guys. And the one thing I think of is, like, golfers will say that sometimes. You think of that as being like a more individual sport. And they're like, no, I have my team. And I don't think people understand that. Obviously, you're the one who goes out and performs on the field, and your accolades are your own, but it takes an entire collective to make that happen on a night in, night out basis.
100%. Like I said, my guys haven't changed. So my parents are still in my corner. My agency is still the same. My head coach, Coach Ryan, was over there for anything that I need as far as the school. Ron Bennett was my hitting coach at the school. He's not my hitting coach now, and nothing there has changed. What got me there is the same thing is going to keep me there.
So, talking about last season for you, what do you think your biggest improvement was that you made over the course of last season that helped you get up to AA?
I've grown a lot as far as just the pitch-to-pitch adjustments, just adjustments in general. You know what I'm saying? Coming from low A back in 19, and then not having the 2020 season due to COVID, it was just a heartbreaking year for a lot of guys. That was supposed to be that was 21. That was last year. It was supposed to be a big year for me. Turns out we didn't have it. Offseason hit, and then just growing over the past couple of years, and then seeing myself this past year, I've grown tremendously as far as adjustability, maturing, knowing my playing style, knowing what I'm good at, knowing what I'm not good at, knowing I'm not going to hit 30 home runs a year, but I could hit 15, 20. I mean, so just knowing my strengths, knowing that I can play with these guys. And then from going to high A to AA, that was a whole nother rude awakening from the moment I stepped onto the field. Yeah, I felt the immense difference between the two levels itself.
Yeah. And you say that, I have your numbers right here. First 8 games, 2 for 20. Now, there was some loud contact that was in there, but 2 for 20 rest of the way. And that's the numbers that matter. 269, 5 doubles, a triple, 4 home runs, 15 RBIs over your last 20 games. I was holding out this much that you were going to have a 2020 season. I thought you were going to get there. So obviously it was, you said it was a rude awakening, but you obviously made an adjustment to it. What was the biggest difference that you saw that then you said, okay, now I get this after a little bit of time here?
That usually 2 for 20. I think that's pushing it. But I would remember one of those. But no, yeah, like it's like as soon as I got the call, it was an exciting time for me and my family. Called them immediately, called the team, said, "Hey, thank you for all right, let's keep going." And as soon as I stepped onto the field, we got down to I think my first series was in Jackson. We were playing the Braves. I think as soon as I got there, and then I think one of the I think it was Longo, Mitch Longo. I think he came up to me. He goes, "So how's it feel like now that you're playing college guys and high school guys? Now you're playing guys with families. These guys are married. These guys have children. These kids are 2, 3, 4, 5 years old now. They're not just fresh families." So, and then stepping on the field, just seeing the guys that are bigger, they're stronger. These are the top arms in the organizations now. These are the top prospects who are possibly getting the call to go to the next level, to make an impact on a big league roster. And just stepping onto the field and then knocking all of that white noise out of the way after the 2 for 20 and just calming down and realizing, all right, that's all fun and dandy, but it's baseball. Just go play.
And that's true. But then there was the real follow was, I'm sure for you, like when we were playing Pensacola, and you're seeing guys who like you probably faced several times in Beloit when you were there in Appleton, and now all of a sudden you're seeing them at the same level. Did it feel a little different when obviously it's a different stadium, but when you've pushed up that next level and yet you're still seeing the same guys moving up at the same time as you?
No, yeah, it's always fun to compete against the same guys. It's always fun to see the strides and progression that each guy has made, as in myself including. I'm pretty sure they're saying the same thing. They're on the mound like, "Oh, I just faced this guy 2 weeks ago," in Appleton. Now we're in Pensacola in a whole new level. But no, it's just the little mind games that you have with each other, and then you think in the back of your head, "Oh yeah, this guy struck me out the last time we faced him. All right, he's not going to get me now." It's the same thing. It's literally the exact same thing. You look at a guy, "Oh, he got me out 2 weeks ago. All right, new team, new everything. All right, now it's my turn."
I love that. I love that. So I know for you heading into 2021, like a big goal for you was that you added muscle and you got stronger.
Yeah.
Is the goal still to add more muscle this offseason, or is it just kind of about maintaining where you're at right now?
Well, one is to maintain, of course. I don't ever want to. If I start losing weight, I start losing strength. That's no good. But no, yeah, it's always the goal to continue to get better, continue to get bigger, stronger, faster. You can never be too fast, can never be too strong, as they say. You can never be too good at something. So I try to put my all and effort into just maintaining, like you said, maintaining the strength or progressing into the next level into my body to be able to perform at the higher level more consistently.
Yep. So last season, you got an opportunity to play in the outfield a little bit because you were a shortstop by trade, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, drafted as a shortstop. Got to it's another one. Drafted as a shortstop. Got to A-ball in low A in Appleton. First game, Matt Erickson, our manager, calls me into his office. We're on the road, and calls me into his office. He goes, "Hey, congratulations." I'm like, "Thanks." He goes, "All right, I'm playing outfield today." he says, "All right, yeah, you're playing center today." Mm-hmm. All right, cool with that. Yeah, sure.
Am I going to be in the starting lineup today?
Starting lineup today, like exactly. So ever that was my first time playing the outfield. Ever since then, I've been getting more and more comfortable. And
is there a spot you prefer to play though, or is it just whatever gets you on the field?
Keeps me on the field and stays on the field every single day. I tell guys all the time now, like my coach, like I said, my coaches, and they ask me, "But how do you feel not knowing where you're going to play?" I play every single day, but I don't know where. It's fun. It's frustrating, but it's fun as well. It's a fun thing to go to the field to not know where you're going to end up, but you know you're going to be in a lineup.
Yeah. Mikey has a tendency to do that. In
Uh,
2018, we ran pretty much the same lineup out most days, but 2019 and last season,
yeah.
it was what are we going with today, and kind of a roll of the dice. What was it like having Mikey as a manager for the back half of the season? And obviously he's kind of an infield guru. How much did he help you with your infield work?
No, it's fun. You can tell that he cares. You can tell that guys come to him and then he wants them to be good. He wants them to be the best infielder in person, baseball player, well-rounded, no matter what position you play. He wants you to be the best version that you possibly can. And showing up to Biloxi, never really talked to him before. He maybe hit me a few ground balls. He maybe seen me play however many times, but just talking to him and just from our first meeting, I showed up because, all right, we have early work. As soon as I got there, we have early work in an hour. Get relaxed, get settled in, change, come outside when you're ready. All right. That's how it was every single day when I was there. We did something to make me better every single day, and that's what I can appreciate.
That's fantastic. I know one of my favorite memories was during our 2018 season. Every day, Mike would go and work with Jake Gatewood, who obviously he's in the Angels organization now, but Jake was transitioning from, he'd been a left fielder, he played third, and then he was moving over, he was playing first base that year. And I think both of them took so much joy in after Mike threw round one of batting practice and Jake normally hit first group. And then after that, they'd go over and just on the kind of the side there, Mikey just worked with them, and they worked on ground balls the whole time.
Every single day, Mikey's in there doing something with somebody. He's in the corner of the locker room, corner of a dugout, corner of something. Even if it is 10 feet, 5 foot of space, he's gonna make it work. No. And that's something that you can always appreciate with a coach. Someone who's looking forward to making you better. Even if you don't want to get better, even when the days you come to the field, you're like, Mikey, I'm tired. It's hot outside. Come on, 15 minutes, puppy. 15 minutes. Come on.
That is Mikey to a T. That is 1,000,000% Mike to a T right there.
No, I loved it. I love the dynamic that we had for the new coach, for the coaching staff. I've never played under these guys before, so it was very fun, and I'm looking forward to going back if that's where I end up again.
Yeah, we'll see, and obviously the coaching staffs haven't been announced yet. I feel fairly confident that Mike's probably going to be back here this season. He's been here every year since 2016. I think that it's a spot that the Brewers really like him, and hopefully we'll have you back here this season. We'd like to. So going into this year, like what have you worked on? I know you mentioned adjustments and making sure that you build strength and speed, but kind of what are the main goals for you in your off-season work, so that way when you start off 2022, you start off on the right foot?
Yeah, I know. This is me personally. I know I had a lot of swings and misses when I was there between Appleton and over in Biloxi. I know the adjustment was one thing, but I know the swings and misses also went up when I got there. Mm-hmm. That's just like you said, it's just the adjustment period of just learning the game a little bit more. Hopefully get that 2020 this year, maybe more, depending on how things roll out. But no, it's just the same thing. Just overall, just go in, play confident like I came in last year, play fast, play with energy, play with my team, be that guy that everybody expects me to still be.
And so obviously you guys all kind of fed off of each other. We saw it at the end of the year, but it seemed like in Appleton, you guys just ran roughshod on the bases, and y'all brought that here. So I have to ask you, and obviously one of these guys is not in the organization anymore, but you, David Hamilton, Bryce Turang, and Garrett Mitchell, who wins in a foot race?
Oh, man.
Stack all the fastest guys up against each other.
I don't care. I'm picking myself.
Hey, that's the right answer. That's the right answer.
There's no shot I'm not going to pick myself.
Well, and it's got to be fun too, though, when, and I know I've seen this with pitching staffs and with hitters in the past, where it's like, a guy goes out and, I got 2 steals tonight and you're just trying to keep up. Or my favorite is guys on the corners. And then you're just playing mind games with a pitcher at that point.
No, running the base, but running the base is good. It's like you said, our team in Appleton, man, we moved. If it's one thing that we did in Appleton, was we ran the bases very well. We had 1 through 9. We had a lineup that can steal a base anytime, realistically, if they want to. Maybe besides our catchers or our first base.
That's fine. Those guys, you know what? Fine. If what's the saying? If you hit it over the fence, it doesn't matter how fast you run the bases at that point.
Right. No, but yeah, we brought. You could tell that was a different type of energy that we brought to the Biloxi team when we got there. Yep. You can tell that we brought. First of all, we were younger. Mm-hmm. It's just a fact. We was a new group of guys. We were younger guys. Bright eyes. Didn't know what to do from anything. We kind of just went in and just played our game, and whatever happened. Everything fell into his way. But yeah, like those guys. I know David had 50 last year.
Yeah, right around there. I think it was 50. It was either 51 or 53. I can't remember which one.
Something like that. So either almost half of 100. So it's something that's outrageous in its own. But no, yeah, those guys run it. I think I picked myself in that race.
I like it. I don't blame you one bit for picking yourself in that case, because and by the way, fun fact, you guys led the league in stolen bases for the last month of the season. So you guys felt like you ran a lot more, and you did. And obviously I think the caught stealings were also bottom where you want to be, and they're bottom of the league for that.
No, that's another thing that we bring to the team is just our organization. There's guys behind us that are coming up who also run too. So I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic again for this Biloxi team.
I'm always curious, how much do you guys pay attention to, or you in particular? I don't know if you can speak to other people. How much do you pay attention to stats during the year, and not specifically like, I know that guys look at their batting average, but like, do you look at some of the more advanced metrics like weighted runs created plus and WOBA and things along those lines? Or is it just day in, day out, you're just trying to put together the best approach?
A lot of the extra stats, I honestly couldn't even tell you what they mean.
Yeah,
realistically. But no, whoever says that they don't know what they're doing during the year is lying to you. Whoever said they don't know how many home runs, they don't know how many stolen bases, they don't know the batting average, they don't know ERA for pitchers or whip, they're lying to you. They know. Everybody is conscious of how they're doing. They may not know the specific number behind it. They know roughly around, but no, it's tough because it's something you try not to pay attention to, but when you're going good, it's hard to not look at it. Mm-hmm. But then again, when you're going bad, it's hard to not say, oh, I was just doing good. Now I'm pressing, and then now I got to find somehow to adjust to the so-called slump that some guys could possibly be in. And that's where I fell in last year. I had a good 2 months. I got hurt. I was out for 2 weeks or so, came back, I was pressing, tried to be the exact same guy that I was the beginning of the year. It turns out I can't. It's not gonna work that way. And the moment I try, the moment it's gonna fail. The moment I try to be more than what already is just allowing baseball to become, then I'm gonna fail at that. So that's why I think for myself, I've grown, like I said earlier, from just letting the game come to me, not forcing it. If I'm having a good series, I'm having a good series. Why I'm not gonna be out there forcing things to happen when they just let it come to me.
Yeah, I know. I think I saw where in a previous interview you had said that back when you were playing like travel ball and stuff like that, you had a coach who I think you'd said you had a day where you'd gone 4 for 4,
yep.
And your 5th time up, your coach said you haven't done anything today, and you said you've taken that mentality the entire rest of the way.
That's Luca. Use my coach, mentor, infield guru guy who I've gone to since I was probably 8 or 9 years old. So he's watched me play since I was a baby, basically, since I was playing Little League. But no, yeah, like you said, that was a good game. And then I go up for my fourth or fifth at bat. He's yelling at me from third base. What you smiling for? What you smiling for? You ain't done nothing. I'm like, man, I just 3 doubles, a triple, no. All right. So yeah, that's something I've always took with me. Just the mentality of never be satisfied. Because there's always, like I said earlier, you can never be too fast, too big, too strong, right? So you can never have too good of a game. If you're 4 for 4, why not go for it? Why not go 5 for 5? You're 2 for 2, why not go 3 for 3? Whatever the day is, you're throwing 6 innings shutout. You got one more, why not go a seventh? It's just a simple mentality that allows me to make the best out of my ability.
So I'll let you rest on your laurels for just a second and ask you, what was your favorite memory or your favorite moment that you can pick from last season? If there's one in particular that stands out.
Getting the call.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the call winning the player of the month for the month of May at the beginning of the year. That was a big thing for me, just to know that offseason just worked. Like everything I just did for the past 4 months is paying off. And this weightlifting thing, it's a real thing. Hitting every day is a real thing. Practice is a real thing. Trying to perfect the craft is a real thing. So no, that was a very exciting moment for me and my family, of course, to know that all the work that I'm putting in is finally coming into fruition. But no, other than that, getting the call was something special, because that's something that everybody dreams about, realistically. The manager calling into the office and saying, all right, you're going up. So there's no feeling that there's going to get better than that, knowing that I'm going to Biloxi, I was taking the next step into my career, taking the next step closer to becoming the player that I want to be, and to becoming the career that I always dreamed of having. And just knowing that the next call could be that call. The next, hey, coming to my office and have a chat with me could be all right, you're going to the league.
Yeah. No, the saying that I've always heard is you don't make it to AA by accident. And I know that Mike and the staff and everybody, and really it's across the entire league, they stress that when you're at this level, you are there. There's one more level above you, but we've seen guys go straight from AA to the big leagues. And so you have the opportunity to turn around and do that.
It's a common thing. Like I was talking to my dad, talking to my team over these past couple months. This is a very real thing. Like once you get to AA, like I said earlier, when you see the prospects, you see the other guys, you see the competition that you're facing, you see the guys who just got the call along with you from other organizations who you're seeing get called up as well, and you're seeing them get better and better and better, and other guys are seeing you get better and better. And these are the guys you're going to be playing if you make it for the next 10, 15 years or so, however long you're in the game for. So now to see that all come around and to see that, hey, we're close. We're real close. We got a couple more things to do and we're there, and we just got to keep it going.
I know that it obviously was a loss, but when you talk about that, the first thing that comes to my head is when Jansen Junk pitched here when we were playing Rocket City, and you hit a 3-run homer that broke up a shutout, and his next outing was at the big league level. So never, I would say never forget like that happened. Like you hit a home run off a guy and he was in the show for his next outing.
Yeah, see, I remember that game. He was throwing, what was that? He had a no-hitter going into the ninth, right?
He had a perfect game going into the ninth inning.
Going into the ninth, and we put 2 on. Yep. I remember. I think Lutz got on, Devaney got on.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I hit the home run. Yeah, they called out. I still have that video. Curveball for a strike. Catcher calls time, goes up to the mound, comes back, fastball high. Yep.
So you were sitting waiting for it.
Oh, 100%. The last series, our second to last home series.
Second to last home series, yeah.
The second to last home series. We got 14 games left. We're not making the playoffs. Guys are out there. We're out there just trying to put on our best show at that point. No. You know, we're down to our last 50 slow at bats. We got to make them count, at least. My guys always say they can't give away bats. I've given up a bat this past year that I wish I didn't. And it's gonna the moment I minimize that, there's the moment that we realize we're getting better. But no, yeah, that was I didn't realize he got called up right after that.
Yeah, that was and that was the joke that we made up here in the press box was he went 8 perfect, and the Angels said, you know what? Yeah, just skip him over AAA, just bring him up. But they were obviously a little short on arms, and he was a guy who they had gotten in one of their trades. So, but yeah, that's how it works around here. Is this is the level where guys are right there. Speaking of pitchers, obviously there are some really good guys that we've had on the staff and throughout the organization. Just for you to give a picture of what pitchers there are to expect and things like that, who's the one guy in the Brewers system that you're happiest that you get to play behind him and don't have to step into the batter's box and face off against him that you gotten to play with?
Oh, the one guy you put me on the spot.
You know what? You can pick 3 if you feel like, but just the first name that pops into your head that you're like, I'm glad I don't have to face that guy.
Who have I faced? All right. So Victor, the Castaneda, I don't know if he went to Biloxi after the Wisconsin season, but no, Victor, he's a good friend of mine. We've grown over the past couple of years now playing together. But no, he's always been a guy who I've looked at as like, he doesn't throw extremely hard, but knows how to pitch. Yeah. So that's a guy who I've always, and it's nasty. It's got a nice little split change, whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but it works.
Yeah.
But no, that's a guy who I've always played behind. And then when he's on, it's something special to watch.
Yeah. Victor actually made the jump up to AAA, I think, and they used him the back half of the season. So there you go.
There you go.
That's the curious thing for what the start of the year is going to be and the shuffle and everything like that. But I'm certainly excited and hoping that we're going to have you here. Do you know when you're going to be, I'm guessing, heading down to Arizona at some point in the next couple of weeks?
At some point within the next month and a half or so. Everybody's going to be there. I'm about, what's today's date? The 11th?
Yeah.
So probably end of February, right around there, somewhere towards that back half of February. I'll try to get down there, try to get started a little bit early before everybody else gets there, before big league camp starts, whenever that is supposed to start, before our camp starts. And early I can get down there, and the more, I guess, feet on the ground, and I feel when actually spring training starts. Because last year I got down there early. And then I rode right into spring training, and that felt good.
Well, I'll say this: you obviously went up to Wisconsin to start the year, and we started in May. April in Biloxi is right when you want to be here. April and May are the good months to be around. So I hope that we've got you here for the first couple of months. If not, though, should be a good thing. Should mean that you're up a level above us. Yeah. But Korry, it was great to have you the last couple of weeks of last year, and I hope that we've got you this season. But thanks so much for taking a little bit of time, and I'm really excited to see what's coming for you on the future.
Hey, man, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Hey, if I'm back there, let's do it.
Let's do it.
We got a good group of boys coming. We're ready for it.
Well, we're excited. Thanks again.
All right, appreciate it.
Well, big thanks again to Korry Howell. Great conversation with Korry. Really enjoyed the time. he obviously is working really hard to get ready for 2022 and very excited about the squad that we're likely going to have here in Biloxi. And he is very likely going to be a part of that. So excited to see what Korry is going to bring to the diamond, whether it's in what will be a very loaded outfield or even a very loaded infield. He obviously talked about being able to play both positions. And so we're just excited to see where he slots into the lineup over the course of the 2022 season. One note for you on baseball that is still going on right now, that's down in the Puerto Rican Winter League, because there are a couple of Brewers prospects that are playing for Indios down there. And as a matter of fact, there's one of them that's still pitching. Nash Walters was a part of Indios. He hasn't pitched since about the end of November, but Braden Webb, who obviously was with the Shuckers for all of 2021, led the AA South in appearances. Well, he's gone on down to the Puerto Rican Winter League, pitching with Indios, and they are into the championship series. As a matter of fact, Braden, since the postseason began, he made an appearance in 3 of their 4 victories, including closing out one of those victories for Indios with a 0 ERA. So they are into the finals, and Braden has an opportunity to pitch at the back end of the bullpen meaningful innings for a championship contending team. By the way, the one time that we saw him make an appearance in the postseason for the Biloxi Shuckers, all he did in 2018 was go out and throw 6 no-hit innings before we got into the 7th inning and was ultimately taken out in a game that the Shuckers won 7-0 over the Jackson Generals. So Braden has been there in the postseason before. We'll certainly keep our eyes on what's going on down in the Puerto Rican Winter Leagues. Still baseball happening, and right now they're into the big, thick middle of the playoffs down there. So we'll try and keep you updated on that. Again, if you like this podcast, be sure to give us a follow, rate, and subscribe as well. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and of course, you can always watch a version of this on the YouTube page for the Biloxi Shuckers. You can follow me on Twitter at Garrett_Green. As we said, as we move on and get closer to the start of the season, and especially here into 2022, we're going to do everything we can to bring you more content, more players that we're likely to have with the Shuckers and former players as well, as we get you all ramped up towards the 2022 season. That's going to do it for us here on the 3rd episode of the Shuckin' Around podcast. Again, a very big thanks to Korry Howell for being our guest, and we will see you next time on the Shuckin' Around podcast.